morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Makini90, art journeyman and illustrator. Welcome you to another video here on the Makini Draws channel. Hope you all are doing well. This will probably be like the second of two videos that I'll record this week as well. So, side note, this one is going to be more of an opinionated video, not trying to like reflect on any like specific sources or such like that. I just want to provide my personal thoughts on this subject. And it's a topic that I have, it's a term that I have been seeing pop up recently, especially with some of the recent situations and hooplas that are going on at certain studios and such like that, like your Ubisofts or even your, your Firewalk studios and such like that, even Bethesda's and things of that nature. One thing, what we're seeing with the gaming industry is very interesting, especially in the AAA space. We're hearing the boycott, we're hearing the boycotts going on, we're hearing the layoffs, constant layoffs. We're hearing all of, the back room, what's been going on behind the scenes when it comes to certain like big games, especially big AAA games, like having this disaster, or having disastrous launches, or just having a lot of controversy behind them. And, you're seeing that, different YouTubers and different people are like uncovering or revealing, like even people within the industry are revealing like, hey, this different insiders, stuff like that. They're all revealing like, you see a game that's like as big as this, it gets like a promotion, and you see that there's a lot of disaster going on behind the scenes. You wonder what is you're just kind of like flabbergasted. You're just kind of like, what the heck is going on? What is going on with this? What's going on with the industry? What is going on with these studios and such like that? And I think one word that I've been hearing going around lately, and it's starting to prop up, is the term toxic positivity. So this is going to be more, just like I said, this is just going to be more me, voicing my personal opinions on this matter, on this whole toxic positivity, and how I think that, toxic positivity, I think it is becoming very much of a crutch and very much of a problem, and probably going to be a recurring problem with a lot of the bigger studios and such like that. And I think that, we have some good examples. And I think we do have some good examples so far in regards to that. So this will probably just try to keep this short, I love to hear from what you guys think about the whole term toxic positivity in the comments. And as always, smack that like button, make it jiggle, smack that subscribe button, make it jiggle if you want to see more art content from me as well. So the reason I want to bring up toxic positivity, and especially was regards to the absolute disaster of a development of the Sony and Firewalk Studios hero shooter, Concord. I don't need to say much on this. Concord has been an absolute disaster, and the game has been shut down with, of course, rumors that the game might be coming back as a free-to-play title. But we've been hearing so much about what's been going on behind the scenes, how the developers have been acting, how even, the marketing team, marketing publishers and such like that. And it's not just happened in Concord, but in various other games as well. And one term that I've been hearing kind of like throwing around lately is the term toxic positivity. From the way I see it, toxic positivity basically means that you can't give legitimate criticisms. You can't give legitimate feedback in terms of like the development of a game or development of anything else. And it's not just in gaming, it's everywhere. I think the toxic positivity thing is everywhere because, people want to cite, because they always want to cite this whole toxic gamers or toxic males or whatever, because they want to paint, the customers, paint the players, the customers, people who actually buy the products as toxic and such like that. And it's like, what about what if we unveil, look under the veil and see what's going on behind the scenes with you guys? Because even legitimate, because we're at a point now where even legitimate criticism is deemed toxic, is deemed, completely just discard that. And yet I feel like it says a lot more about what is going on behind the scenes when it comes to certain games, when it comes to certain studios and such like that. The term toxic positivity became very apparent to me when it came to Concord. When Smash GT brought up the videos, brought up some of the information regarding behind the scenes with one of the developers having to refer to everyone as the professor, the senior, one of the senior concept artists, Amanda Kiefer, bringing up, just having, going after the fans and going after the customers and such like that, and just making these statements. And then, after everything kind of fell apart with Concord, now worrying about, their jobs and such like that. We're seeing that with Ubisoft as well. We're seeing that what's going on behind the scenes. Ubisoft is an absolute disaster going on behind the scenes with everything that has been, everything that's been going on, especially with them and Tencent and such like that. And now, there's a boycott going on. There's an actual boycott going on, not only in France, but now in Italy as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft offices here, and I think in San Francisco, will also be affected and have to go into a boycott as well. But we're seeing that all over, and I noticed that it is coming from... One thing I've noticed that with the term toxic positivity is that it's coming from the most vocal, I would say, games or developers with the most vocal, people in their development team, spurring out against gamers, spurring out against customers on Twitter like that. And I feel like every time I see another I see another developer, I see another artist, see another engineer, another designer go on, say something like Twitter or even something like Blue Sky and just spurring out against, developers or players, or spurring out against content creators, players, or, customers and stuff like that. It does make me wonder, is that what's going on behind the scenes? I would take Concord for a shining example. There clearly were problems going on behind the scenes, in that apparently you weren't allowed to actually provide legitimate feedback to say, hey, this doesn't work. This idea won't work. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's see what can work. Let's put some of these ideas together. But no, it seemed to be that especially in Concord's case, and especially what we're seeing with Ubisoft, it's like you have to be in lockstep. Everybody has to be in lockstep with these ideas. You cannot go off the line. You have to toe the line. You cannot provide any decent feedback. Whatever the higher up says, not only just whatever the higher up says goes, but whatever the developers, I guess you could say the more activist-like people on the team, whatever they say, whatever they have the higher positions of power, whatever they say goes. We can't say anything else. Or whatever this, managers and such like that. It's we have to, follow this. We have to follow this, that or the third, despite knowing that, hey, these ideas aren't going to work. This isn't going to gel well into a game. We're take some of those feedback to heart. Let's take some of this feedback and let's see if we can improve on that. But that's not what we're seeing. For example, for example, I did a video on Dragon Age the Veilguard, and from what I'm getting, especially with the comments from the former writer at BioWare calling gamers, tourists, calling actual people legitimate criticism tourists, and for what we saw with Concord, it's people just shrugging off as white, quote unquote, white noise. Or even, let's go into Ubisoft. Let's go back to Ubisoft. There was a leak. There was a reveal that when it came to negative, especially the negative comments, the criticism, especially regarding to the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows, whenever it reached to the higher ups, it was completely ignored. But whenever it reached to kind of the lowest point of the development teams at Ubisoft, it was referred to as toxic gamer talk. And I'm referring to people who had legitimate criticisms, people who had legitimate feedback. This isn't working. Can you maybe go back and change this? And I think this is the whole thing with toxic positivity. I don't think that's going to help the gaming industry in the long run. I don't think it's going to help any studio in the long run, because you can't have legit feedback from people legit feedback from even people in your development team to, hey, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's put all these ideas down. Let's figure out what doesn't work. Let's figure out what's gonna give us. Let's find that middle ground. Basically, say that you have an idea for a character. You have an idea for this, that, or the third, and one side you want to put, you have this, you have all these ideas that you want to try to put like on a paper or something, put them like on a bulletin board, put like on just brainstorming sessions, and you want to take these ideas, see what works, and then you get feedback, put it into a build, put it into a game or something like that, but then you get feedback from the play testers, the customers saying, that's not going to work. It just, this doesn't work. Maybe this doesn't work. We can't speak on this. We can't, nobody can speak on this, or nobody can say anything about this. Like, going back to Dragon Age Veilguard, in the leaked video regarding the game tester, they were saying that, like, they put some of the feedback regarding to the higher ups at BioWare and such like that regarding the development of this game, and some of the feedback was completely ignored or had to be completely taken down because it was referring to the fact that you're putting current day or modern talking points in a fantasy game. Stuff such as like pronouns and such like that. And it's like, this is a game about like fantasy and wizardry and stuff like that. Why do we need to have these like modern day current political talking points in something that is clearly escapism, something that's not meant to, fit into that space? It's like the whole thing is trying to interact current day, trying to see everything through a modern lens, trying to look at everything within a modern lens and stuff like that. Apparently, from the game tester who was speaking out about this, was like, it was completely ignored. It completely just ignored any other legit feedback, legit criticisms, because they brought that one thing up. This is what I'm trying to say about the whole toxic positivity thing, that I do think that we're going to see more and more that gamers, not seeing that from gamers having legit criticisms, but people within the industry, people who are behind the scenes, people who are working in the development of these, especially these big AAA games, speak out and say, this isn't working. Like, all your like, a lot of complaints is like, a lot of these complaints are legitimate. However, the higher ups are not going to listen to it. However, the big wigs, the people who are kind of like the higher positions of power, like the investors and like the managers and the CEOs and stuff like that, not only they're not going to listen to it, but we all have to be in lockstep and put these ideas out without any legit pushback within our own development. We can't say that this idea can't work, this idea can work, or this idea is not going to work. I'm not trying to tie this all into, it has to, or we all have to fall lockstep with this whole, DEI, ESG, whatever kind of like mentality. But when even your own internal, design team, your internal game development, your game testers can't provide legit feedback, in that we all have to unanimously agree there cannot be a differing opinion regarding this, you're going to get failures like Concord. You're going to get a lot of these games that have, a consultancy firm that have been flopping left and right. You're going to get a lot of even like big AAA stuff from like Bethesda or even Activision Blizzard just be in complete disaster. Because because this whole toxic positivity thing. Games improve based on fan feedback. And it feels like it's not possible now. It feels like, some developers who are just, on their high horse and such like that, what we saw with Concord and such, like, it's being fallen on deaf ears. It has, like, you have to be in lockstep, not just with not just with the opinions, but with the mindset as well. And that's not how to make a game. That's not how to get a project. That's not how for anything to be successful. You know, if you're not allowed to criticize, especially internally within your own development team, and everybody has to be in lockstep with this, is that actually going to be, is that actually benefiting your game in the long run? Is that benefiting your project? Is that benefiting your product in the long run? Because all it is just, it's almost like you're hiding skeletons in your closet when it comes to development. So you're going to hear more of those, like, stuff that's been going on with Firewalk, stuff that's going on behind the scenes with Ubisoft, stuff that's going on with Activision Blizzard, stuff that's going on with Bethesda. You know? I bring up Bethesda because that definitely seemed to be the case with Starfield, is like everybody has to follow, you know, kind of like, you know, what Todd Howard, it's almost like what Todd Howard says goes, you know, and everybody has to be in lockstep with that. And I think that, you know, going that route, you're kind of falling apart. You know, I think that's one of the reasons that I think Starfield is not the success that Bethesda wanted it to be, you know what I mean? I just don't think this toxic positivity is, I don't think it's helping. I don't think this especially in the gaming space, I don't think toxic positivity is going to help, especially a AAA studio in the long run. It's like, you know, you guys really do need that feedback. You know, you guys really do need that feedback if you want the game to be successful. You know, not everybody on the development team is going to fall in lockstep regarding some of the decisions. That's not how great games were made. That's not how great things were made. I cite this one. We wouldn't have Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars would have been the big success if George Lucas didn't have someone like Gary Kurtz and Marsha Lucas, his wife Marsha Lucas at the time, you know, ringing them in and say, hey, this idea isn't going to work. This idea isn't going to work. Let's pull it back. Let's pull it back. Let's see what works. Let's tighten it. Let's make sure it's tightened. I don't think we would have gotten anything like Star Wars if that wasn't the case, you know? You know, sometimes you really do need that. You really do need that second opinion. You really do need the people to say, like, within your team, they're like, hey, we're not going to agree on all this. And not every idea is going to work. Let's talk this through. Let's see what works. Let's see what doesn't work. Let's tighten it. Let's ring it in. Let's ring it in a bit. Ring it in a little bit. Okay. Maybe this design is not hitting with, you know, based on our player feedback, based on, you know, customer feedback. So let's see if we can rework this just a little bit. See if that one that will not only make us happy, but also make the fans happy, make the customers happy. You know, find that balance sometimes. Sometimes you need to find that balance. A studio where everybody is in lockstep, that you cannot criticize, that you cannot, you know, have a second opinion, you cannot provide legit feedback. That's not going to help. I think it's going to hurt more than it's going to hurt your guys more in the long run, and it's going to reveal more that, hey, there's been some ish going on behind the scenes, and you'll see when you see a disaster like a Concord or a Dustborn or say a Ubisoft title, and you find out like what's going on behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, this is where I see the term toxic positivity starting to become much more apparent, especially in the gaming space. So I just wanted to provide my personal thoughts on this one. Let me know what you guys think as well, and let me know if I'm trying to be articulate with my trying to be articulate with what I'm trying to say here. But let me know If I was more clear and concise with what I was trying to say in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about the whole toxic positivity in the comments below as well. I'd love to, let's get a discussion going. I'd love to hear from you guys on this one. Of course, massive thank you to everyone in the CSF Nation. If you guys see your name on the screen, you guys are not, this is not toxic positivity. You guys are all cute, sexy, and fun, and I truly mean that. And I thank you all for supporting me and join the channel for as low as $1 a month if you guys want to see your name on the screen down below, on screen here as well. And I thank all of you for watching. As always, I'm Machiny90, Artist Journeyman and Illustrator, and I'll see you all next time for another videos. Until then, take care, much love, stay cute, stay sexy, have fun. Never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in your video games. Be legitimately positive. Don't be toxic positive. Be legit positive, you know, and provide feedback. Help each other out. Sometimes the same opinions actually make stuff better, you know. And above all else, never stop drawing.